Today is July 23rd, 2025, and we're here to discuss the Wipper family, who's lived in Turner for a long period of time. Do you mind if we record this?
Not at all.
Can we use it for yesterday in Turner's social media? Why don't we start off by introducing yourself?
Okay, my name is Jerry Wipper. Gerald H is the legal name, but I go by Jerry more than anything else. This is my daughter Laura, Laura Rose.
And the H stands for Herman.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of important. I think.
Herman was a big thing in my life.
Yeah. Right.
So Laura's going to be asking some questions, and she's going to moderate this video. So go ahead, Laura.
Okay. So since we're on the subject of names, Dad, I have not heard the story. Do you know how your name was chosen? I have
Well,
a
it's
suspicion
pretty
about
obvious.
Herman.
It's
Yeah.
pretty obvious where the Herman came from. But
Right.
the rest of it, I don't know. My dad's name came from a fellow that had a farm down behind the old home place. That's all I know about it. And then, of course, there was my dad's brother was Ira Benjamin, and that came from a previous relative who was somewhat famous in the family.
Ira Benjamin Pierce.
Yeah.
And Grandpa Carl, his middle name was his mom's maiden name, Barnett.
Barnett.
Right. And your middle name is Herman, and Herman was your paternal grandfather.
Yeah.
Who came from Germany.
Yeah, we did. And we've been there for that. But that's not much to do with this again.
No, except that he came a long ways to land in Turner.
Yeah, he did. He obviously had a story that would have been very, very interesting to hear. Because he was an orphan and
Right.
did a lot of stuff in his own.
And from the things I found, he was pretty highly regarded as a farmer and member of the community. He's kind of planted the seeds for and laid out the road for the rest of us to follow.
Family tradition we've all.
Right. So I've never heard, do you know anything about the day you were born? The story there?
It was
where
hot.
it?
That's the only thing and
In April? April 18th?
yeah, that was a big deal because I don't remember now if it was the day I was born or the day they brought me home. I sort of think it was the day they brought me. They just stayed in the hospital when they had babies. If you went to a hospital at all.
And you went to the hospital?
Yeah,
Or your
I was
grandma?
born in Salem General Hospital, which is current time is no longer, and they're building apartments all over that area.
And they later built a maternity ward there, but that wasn't there when you were born. It was in the old hospital.
The doctor's office, our doctor's office was close there, and we were about going out of there when that happened, so it's been a long time.
Right, great. 1934.
Well, that,
Yeah, okay. So tell me about Grandma and Grandpa, Carl and Bernice. What were they like? What were their personalities like?
well, my mother came from Gardner, which is on the Oregon coast, right close to Reedsboro. They met in a blind date and baseball season, and the catcher's wife, girlfriend, whatever, knew Mom and brought her up to Turner, and she met Dad for the first time when he had a baseball uniform. And she was rather shocked because Dad was a pretty thin guy. And her comment, she claimed to, was, "Oh my gosh, that!" She said that, yeah. And then I guess they got along pretty well. And he used to go down to Gardner to see her. And to get to Gardner, you went over to Florence, and then there was a lot of 101 that wasn't in existence. So they got out on the beach and drove on the beach. And that's how the highway department took over the beach.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know how long back at Turner, but they got together.
That must have been an interesting courtship, because I know there wasn't Highway 101 was not there, and I know they used the beach, and that is how Governor McCall got the beach all
Okay.
publicly owned, because he used that at the highway angle.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they must have gone back and forth. That was not a small trip to go
No,
back and
no.
forth between Turner and Gardner.
Even when, what I can remember, and the road was open then, it took a long time to get out. One time it started snowing and we had to turn around and come back.
So tell me about things that you learned from your parents, grandpa and grandma. My grandpa and grandma, your mom and dad.
My dad used to take me out and take ground balls to me. Dad was a pretty good baseball player, and he took real interest in mine, especially baseball. One of the things I always said about my dad was that the only time he quit farming was if I had a ball game. Summertime, I played at Salem Baseball League and stuff. We always made it to the games. Sometimes we had to shut the combine down a little early. So he was a pretty hard worker, but when it came time to play ball, it was time to play ball.
Well, and to support you playing ball, which is important.
Well, yeah.
So him playing or you playing.
I didn't go to many of his games.
Oh, you might have been a little
Oh.
not yet there yet, or maybe.
Well, a lot of Dad's ball time was during World War II. So
Oh.
a lot of those kind of things were not going on when I was there.
Right.
In fact,
So, from some of the things I found, Grandpa Carl's siblings, he was the youngest.
yeah,
And there were 9 kids, and one of them passed away when he was young. Herman Paul was 2, but there are a lot of girls.
6 girls, 3 boys.
And they all seemed pretty close, because there's a lot of little tidbits in old papers about how they get together for various things. So they seem pretty close, but not all of them stayed in the area. Which ones do you remember? Which ones did you spend the most time with?
Mary would be the one I was probably Winnie was the deep lady. No, they were all mine. I didn't know Ida. She was the oldest child. She lived in Seattle, and her husband was a painter, and he had a painting company.
Last name was Lyle, I think. Lyle, I think.
Yeah, there was
Maybe I'm not
Frank
sure.
Lyle.
Yeah, okay. And Aunt Mary was, she was one of the youngest girls, wasn't she? I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But she married a Ball.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 of them, 2 sisters married Balls.
Yeah, they were not related.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And there was Cordell was named Mary's husband, and his brother married a different.
Ah, okay. I thought they were brothers.
There was Lena was married to the other Ball. He died in the
Flu pandemic.
the flu death, and he was 1990. Then she married after she little. She married a guy, a miner in Idaho, Silver City, Idaho, and I don't know what the story was. We didn't talk about those kind of things in those days, but I never met the man, so they must not have got along too well, because they didn't look good. But she did live in Silver City for at least a short time, because she was a county school superintendent.
I think his name was Arthur Birmingham. I think I have a picture of that. And then she had a daughter, Alice, who married Alice Ball. And she's like me. She likes the family history.
And Alice, living in Bakersfield area when I first became aware of it. When I was in the Army, she was in Kalinga, and my folk came down, picked me up at Fort Ord and took me down to Kalinga Christmas dinner. And a long ways to travel for a short.
But worth it. So let's go back to Mary, because her part of the family kind of they had a big footprint in Turner.
Yeah,
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Mary had 3 boys. Bob was the youngest, Keith middle, and
Elton
Elton.
was the oldest, and Keith
Yeah.
and Bob, right?
He was the older one. And there again, Mary's husband, I don't know what happened with him.
They got divorced, I know that, I found that.
Okay, yeah, that's right, they did mention it. But what the problem was, I don't know. I knew the boys fairly well. Real well before we got all done. But the 2 older ones were chin deep in World War II. In fact, one of them was the commanding officer of the BMW plant in Germany.
Really?
I don't think he built many cars, but they had to see him. And then the younger one was a landing craft pilot, I guess. And he got in at the tail end of the war, but he was much younger. And then he got called back for the Marine.
Oh, wow. So what do you remember about Ball Brothers and the businesses? Because I know there was a dealership and a gas station, but Larry, my husband, tells me that he remembered going to a soda counter, and they had like a
It
store.
was a beer joint. That's where I learned to like beer. Got my folks would take me, I was a little guy, and folks would take me to dinner. In fact, they had to quit doing it. They got to liking.
Were you crying? So they feed you some beer to make you be quiet?
It failed.
So were the Balls owning that business then too? When it was a beer joint and a soda
I
fountain
don't
counter or whatever?
remember. Well, all that was before my recollection. Because there was back the last time I was by there was a picture, and I think it was maybe Mary and someone else that were at the bar where they served.
Ah, okay.
And,
I haven't seen that picture.
yeah, it's in the window or what.
Oh, I'll have to
And
go back.
when all the Ball brothers died, they sort of, I think the city might have taken it over, and they sort of dressed it up a little bit. It was looking pretty tough for a while. The back end of it, they had a grain business too. And they had a couple of trucks, and they do hauling, and they do whatever, and they had a school bus franchise, I guess you call it. They operated a school bus for Turner, and then I was at Cloverdale, and Cloverdale had its own bus. So, and then the other Ball, not Emer E. I would never will forget that name. That was Cordell's brother. He was a big guy. Well, Bill was a pretty good guy. And the son was 6'5", and he played center for Turner High School. But I was only about that big at that time, so I don't remember much about that.
And that's Cordell's brother, Elton, Keith, and Bob's would have been their uncle.
Yeah.
And that's the original Ball Brothers.
Yeah.
And then it became the Cordell's sons as the Ball Brothers.
That's one thing I think people aren't aware of, if they care, is that there were 2 Ball brothers. The original one.
2 generations
Yeah.
of Ball Brothers, yeah.
And they, I had to laugh, but they did everything so much on trust. You go in there and, say you want to buy a car, and I say, okay, and what color, and, what do you want on it, and that was it. I mean, I don't know if they even had signed contracts.
Even a handshake?
Oh, probably a handshake.
I'll take a blue one with a radio.
That's about it, yeah. But there was never a big inventory.
Right, right.
And then, they quit, I think there was one room that had a spot for a show car. And I think I saw a car in there once.
Ah, okay.
They were not big deal. Matter of fact, General Motors said at one time that, yeah, Ball Brothers, have a dealership as long as Ball Brothers is operated, but.
The first set of brothers.
No, the second set.
Oh.
This was somebody coming in to try and sort of take over the French,
Oh,
and
okay.
they thought they were really getting something by having that Chevy dealership, but it was only good as long as the boys were there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, it seems kind of interesting because Turner maybe it was a booming place, but maybe I don't think of it as booming enough to have its own car dealership. And the fact that they had a car dealership and they did all those other aspects of their business seems kind of
Well, I think
Meaning
he's placing
needs.
too much value on the dealership.
okay. Not big into. It was one of the things they sold. We
Yeah.
sell cars, we sell beer, we sell hardware,
Yeah, we do what we can.
and we sell gas if you have a car. Okay, got it.
But it was definitely not one of the larger businesses, I don't think, in my perception. The big deal in Turner was the sawmill
Right.
that they had. I don't recall who was who owned the sawmill before Berkland's. Berkland's put the swimming pool in, city pool. So and then their office was in the corner where City Hall is now, I think, I recall. And they had, the mill building was, towards the north end of the property alongside the railroad track. And they had the wigwam burner was there, and it lasted for a long time. But I never saw trains stop at the train station. And that property, well, finally ended up alongside the railroad on South of Town on the way. And we would get a lot of trains through there, and they used to use the siding, park a train for the oncoming train for behind it. They could pass that. And I got a big kick out of talking, waving at the guys on the train, because they'd always say, hi, I'll be out there sitting on the track car. They'd be sitting in the train and communicating.
One way or another. Yeah, we probably haven't added much to that rail line.
Okay.
The rail line, I think there's like 20, 25 trains that go through there every day now. And that's the max. That's the max it can take. Used to talk to the state rail planner all the time.
Yeah, the old days, they were long and, well, not so long, I guess.
I think I remember stopping for a train, going to Grandma's house, but
Oh, yeah, probably. Well,
but they're just going through, not stopping.
yeah. And then, my cousin's, Ben's boy, their mother got killed at a train crossing, close to the same. So there were trains going through those.
Well, and so did some of our other relatives too.
Yeah, I think there was another.
1930, there was
Yeah.
5 women Yeah, Robertson Branch.
Doing your homework.
So what else, when we look at Turner now, it seems like, I remember going to the grocery store with grandma when I was a kid. And it's like a little mini mart now, but it was like um, I don't know the street names, but it used to turn
Yeah.
a block earlier to go
That's,
through town.
Chicago, sure. And that's the one that goes across the railroad tracks.
Yeah, and then,
And it
yeah,
goes on and turns into Wipper Road.
right. And we used to go there to get groceries, but it's not like it was, but.
There have been quite a few changes down there. There used to be there's a river that was probably 30 feet wide. Probably ran from the turn you're talking about down to Milk Creek, I guess that is. And they did away with it. I don't know why or how they did that, but it's not there anymore. And there was a drugstore, Doc Prather.
And where was that?
Doc Prather.
Yeah.
And it was on I don't know, I can't remember the name of that street, but it was on the side opposite where there's Creek, whatever this waterway was. And there was barber shop.
Is that that'd be the west side?
East side.
East side, okay.
And let's see, and then there was Chapman's, and they were relatives.
Yeah.
And they had a grocery store and sort of a lunch counter. Kenny Chapman, his name. He was probably a little bit younger than my dad.
It was Alice's sister Lulu married a Chapman.
If you said. And let's see, then there was a vacant lot there someplace. I think that might have been the one of them. And where the turnaround is now, I don't remember what was there, but I know it was a bank obviously at one time. And the people that came in were trying to, I always thought pull fast on Elton. Talking in to get borrowing a bunch of money, and then these things like they got the Chevy franchise as long as the Ball Brothers are there. That sort of screwed the whole plan up. So Elton ended up going, I don't know, I have any idea how much, but more than he should to the bank. And he, by God, would quit if he had that,
Oh, that seems
So
like Elton.
that Elton, I really, really like that guy, the deep guy.
Me
Grumpy
too.
old devil,
I never saw him grumpy.
No.
I never saw the grumpy side of him. I always enjoyed it.
What a story of Elton that he used to go deer hunting with some relatives and some other people. And they were there, I think he did Jake. So he come home and then his wife would get done what he's gonna shave. And one time it ended up a little more cantankerous than other times. He had a beer for the rest of his life.
Oh. Ah.
Give me a bad time, I'll show you.
You know what? I know where that came from. That's that German Wipper stubborn streak. It came to Elton
I don't
through.
recognize that.
It came from his mom, from Herman to Mary to Elton. I've seen it a few times in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a wonderful experience.
Well, maybe it's German grit.
Yeah,
So I remember, I wish Elton, well, Mercel, I remember being up there for like a family gathering, and yep, and Mercel, Elton's wife, showed me this family book which had a lot of family history in it. And I was young enough that I was really enthralled with it, but there wasn't enough time to really pay attention. So I don't know what happened to all that, but there might be history
Well,
there
there's
too, wherever it went.
not many of them. The Marshall Fund, they died here within the last year. And I think Lindsay is the only one of them that's left. And I've sort of lost track. And he lived South Salem last time. I talked to him. Matter of fact, I ran into him in Fred Meyer.
Really?
He was behind me at the checkout lines. Talked a little bit. I haven't followed up on him.
I used to see him once in a while in Staten because,
Yeah, he did.
yeah, he lived outside of town and he was acquainted with a family who had a son same age as Riley. And so we'd see him on the, sporting events.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I haven't seen him for a while. But, okay, so didn't a lot of Turner used to be on the west side of where it is now? I mean, it looks like when I look at that, no? It's
Well,
always-
there's an area northwest, north of Delaney Road.
Oh, the park out there, kind of,
Yeah,
it's
sort of,
housing.
that was referred to as Hollywood.
Oh,
yeah.
I saw that somewhere, mentioned.
And a bunch of single. Not double wall, single wall, constructed, cheap,
Oh,
barely standing up kind of stuff. And,
why'd they call it Hollywood, do you know?
well, because of all the crap that was there.
Oh, they didn't
But
think
very
highly,
sarcastic.
they didn't
Hollywood.
think highly of Hollywood or, okay,
No.
sarcasm. All right, okay. Well, when I looked at that map on the side of that building in town now, it looks like there was more on the other side of, because I know the Mason, is it the Masons? That,
Masonic Hall, well,
Yes.
it used to be Masonic Hall, it's not Masonic, it's got they call it the library.
oh, it's the one that's on the way to Wipper Road on the left?
Yeah,
That's a library now?
I don't know what it is, but it's got some title, and I think it might be a library, but that was Masonic Hall, and then now Masonic and Oddfellows Hall, and Easter Star are a little closer to Wipper Road.
On the south side. That's the one I know. I don't know the other one. That's the one I went to.
They had when my dad joined the Masonic Lodge, they had some kind of thing, and I had to give a speech. And I had something, Dad wrote the character. Something, it was, I didn't enjoy it, I remember that.
Public
Probably
speaking.
about 5 or 6.
So I know Aunt Winnie lived in Turner for a while, and I think she and Mary they were either in the same house or
They were,
I
I think they lived together for a while and then they ended up living separately. So,
Are there any other aunts or uncles besides Mary, Winnie, Ben that lived in the area? Or did all the rest of
let's see.
aunts and uncles, aunts, it's all aunts,
Fanny, she lived in Portland.
okay?
Elva Bell lived in San Francisco. Had a hat shop in San Francisco. Well, my ladies had a
Really?
And then Lena didn't spend a whole bunch of time in Oregon, but especially during the war, she seemed to be there a lot. We had a smoke shed, an old building that we'd hang meat in, and then build smoky fires in there. And she used to play. We were agents during the war, and we were playing. She'd come out and play with me just like some of the kids would do. So those gals, that Wipper family, sort of unique in a lot of respects.
As I do family research, I don't find anything, there's nothing but good to say about them.
Fortunately, the records were too good, and keep track of me.
So, what do you know about how long the family's been in the Turner area?
Well,
Because we can talk about Herman. We know when Herman got there,
but then.
but they were Alice's family was there before that.
But Ira Pierce probably would be the senior. And he was around so much, I don't know when he was where.
He definitely got it. I've got some of that down, where he came here he was here in 1850, because he was recorded. I found something that said that there's like a first Oregon census in 1850, and he was recorded there. And from things I've read, he was here for about 3 years, so maybe that's when he had a land claim. And then he went back and got his family, went back to his family in Iowa in the early mid-50s. And then about 10 years later, came back here through Idaho and spent the winter in Idaho, starting Boise with those cabins.
Yeah.
And it was Selena, Alice's sister Selena, that was sick, which is why they stayed there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's why they stayed over that winter and didn't keep traveling. And then, so that would have been 1864 then that he came. So he was here in 1850, about 3 years, back to Iowa, then moved his whole family permanently here in about 1864.
And he's currently buried in the Cloverdale Cemetery. And
Right.
want to figure out, try to find one of those dates, looking at his tombstone.
Well, and Ira has there's a few Ira Benjamins.
Uncle Ben wrote
And
it.
Uncle Ben was an Ira Benjamin, and Ira Benjamin Pierce had an Ira as well. As a matter of fact, I think Grandpa took that Ira to a retirement home in Forest Grove one time. I found an article and it confused me. It's like, what? But I think it was the son, not the older Ira.
Oh, okay.
But, and I think that Barnett's came here in the 1870s.
I had a grade school teacher who was named Barnett at Cloverdale. In fact, she was there probably half the time I was there.
Oh, that was, now I get the twins mixed up. There was Henry and Harry, and one of them was married to the teacher.
Yes, right. I can't remember which one either.
So she would have actually been your great aunt,
I think so.
because she would have been Alice's sister-in-law.
Okay.
Because the twins were, there's a lot of them.
You got a full face.
I have to keep notes to keep them straight. But the more I talk about it, the more I kind of get it.
Yeah, I'm picking up on that.
Well, I pick up on it, and then a few months pass and I lost it. I don't know about you. You're probably doing better than I am.
I'll get worse before it gets better.
But I know I go up to when we first, some of the early times when I was much younger, and we go up to Cloverdale Cemetery, I had no idea then that so many people there are relatives.
Oh, yeah, that's let's call it Wipper Cemetery.
Yeah, Whiteheads, Mothorns, Robertsons, Chapmans. There's a whole.
Oh, yeah, any corner of the cemetery, there's probably a dead relative laying around.
Yeah. And there's I think, have I showed you, there's that document that somebody, like some intern did a bunch of research, and I don't think it's 100% right, but they accounted for all the people that were in the cemetery at the time.
Oh, I've seen.
And there's a little bit about when they were born and where they came from, and a little bit about their relatives and the Delaney.
Oh,
That was the
well,
first, that's what started the cemetery, it's the Delaney murder, which that's in there too. Anyway, a little Turner drama related to Salem.
One of the things about the Cloverdale Cemetery, cousin Don was on that cemetery board for a while. And, but prior to that, and probably containing, I don't know, the Schiffer family has done a lot of effort on maintaining and taking care of that cemetery.
Because your property is kind of not very far. Well, there are Schiffer Farms right there on that low part of the hill.
Yeah, they were, John Schiffer had a family probably of 6.
Only 6?
Probably more. That I was trying to put. I remembered some girls, and one of the girls married to a guy that was a navigator in Alaska in World War II. I got acquainted with him, and he gave me my first plane ride. Set the hook.
Oh,
Next thing I knew, I was taking flying.
I haven't heard this story.
And he was a neat guy. He was an adjuster for State Farm Insurance. That's how I met him. And then he was also he was he might have been a city of Salem cop. I don't remember that for sure. But he also was manager of the airport.
Oh, he wore a lot of hats.
Yeah, but that was before I knew him. That, he took me for a ride to Newport, let me fly back part of the way.
How old were you when you took that trip?
Well, it was probably 27, 28, like that. Oh, no better.
But old enough to go ahead and get your pilot's license.
Yeah.
And fly for a lot of years.
And then they used to have they call them a separator. And I think I call them a threshing machine, but the grain was cut into bundle and stacked, and there's a lot of hand work there. Team of horses were full of binder for fast, and then they stack these, put the shocks together, then let it dry out, and they take the horse and they're the team of horses, not the wagon, go out, blow the shocks out of the wagon, and then drive it up to the separator and threshing machine, and pitch it through there, and I never looked on the inside of them, but the bar went around and knocked the grain off, and the grain went here because it was heavy, and the straw went this way because it was lighter, and then there'd be this big, huge mound of straw, and then they had to figure out how to get rid of that, and I think I don't see the mounds of straw would last quite a while. I recall. Of course, they'd use it for bedding, animal bedding, and everybody had animals in those days. One of the Schiffer boys was in the Air Force during World War II, and he got some kind of he was a flyer, but he got a non-flying job. He was, I think, a pretty high up officer in the Air Force. But I don't know what about and all the Schiffers. I don't know if there are any left now or not. There was Carl got into World War II, so it was, and he married. He got a German war bride, brought her home. And the last I heard, she was still alive. It got to be pretty touch and go down. And she lives down where Cloverdale Road headed out to the freeway. And I don't she's always got something for sale. You know, they even got involved in the farmers market in Southdale. And they take stuff in. In fact, I think maybe they still do. But they were really throwbacks.
That's good. We need more farmers, even small farmers. So, So you don't know how the Barnetts came. We know how Ira and the Pierces came, but we don't know how the Barnetts came to Oregon. And I know that, well, let's see, the Pierces had ties. It was Ira's wife, her brother was in Gilliam County and ranched up there, and Herman had bought a donation land claim up there that he sold in the late 1890s. And then came back to, so he was going back because he and Alice were married.
Yeah.
And all their kids were born in Turner, but he was still farming up there. And then he came back and bought a farm up on the hill. As near as we can tell. Because I found documentation that says he bought 300 and some acres with at that time. So,
What's the half section 320?
yeah.
Maybe that didn't go about
Yeah. But we don't know where exactly he was up on that. How that all came together, because some of that land up on the top of the Wipper Hill was, well, Alice came, must have been Barnett Farm. John Justice.
Yeah, and then.
And I don't know how Herman and Alice even met.
Big chunk of that hill property is what Dad bought, right about Morrison.
Oh, okay.
Because he bought that farm, referred to it as a near place.
Near place?
Yeah, NEER. They lost it at the bank, and Dad bought it for the bank. And it had in the little, so I call it a salt block house, a big square one. Put it out back and big melted snow into the windows during the winter.
Was
It's
that
cold to go out there outside. Just open window for a short time.
was that the place where he built the house, or is that's?
No, it's down, it's east of the.
Oh. So where that house is, because Alice was there too, right? After.
Alice lived in the square house there, yeah. That's where Herman died, and well, she died too. And that's where we had a lot of family get-togethers around the holiday. And then ended up remember going to Winnie's a few times. Remember that up in Portland, I was during the war. They lived out of West Sloan, and looked there for holidays. Go to Mary's, looked to Mary's for a lot of holidays.
How did you get to Portland from Turner at the time? Because there wasn't a freeway.
We go up 99
Ah, okay,
through Woodburn,
right.
Oregon City, Milwaukee, and it wasn't too quick.
I was gonna say, how long did it take to get there back then?
If you're after 3 o'clock, it's probably quicker than day.
True statement, especially since you didn't have to go through Wilsonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, so we started talking about the hill and the houses. How long did you live up on Wipper Hill?
I was,
AKA Summit Loop.
I was a junior in high school when they moved off the hill. And,
And Grandpa built that house up there in 45.
45.
And that was with Henry or Harry, one of those. Was it the husband of the teacher or the other one?
Yeah, that's it. It was really funny because the one we camped in then, but he talked a lot. He had a lot of things. And every time he referred to his building team, was he and this other fellow, I in caps. not Cap and I.
Oh, I
Cap. Or Cap, I mean, I don't, I think they were friends and I think it must have been getting the names up.
Yeah, that sounds right. I could figure it out in my tree,
Okay.
but I won't take the time to do that right this minute. So, did you work, well, it wasn't till junior year, you must have been helping Grandpa farm then up on the hill.
Yeah.
Well,
And we kept Dad kept farm on the hill for about 4 or 5 years. We moved off. We had a lot of dirt to do.
so what all were you, because I know when you read about Herman's farm, he had like prunes and he had lots of things, animals and
Well, I
things
think
up with
that's
his
the
farm.
old German way of farming is, in fact, after my dad died, I was going through his stuff and I found a bank book, Land Bush Bank, and it was a record of his savings, borrowing, cash and check.
Grandpa Carl's or?
Yeah,
Okay.
with that. And I could go through that book and I just about tell you what the crop was, what happened, the entries in that bank book. Yeah, it was pretty consistent. You'd always borrow some money to buy some, what we call feeder lambs. Skinny stuff that you'd fatten up and sell at a meat cook. And he just had this routine and he learned that from his dad, I'm sure. And fun to watch. You learn a lot by just sitting around figuring out what they're figuring.
Well, didn't you tell me there used to be a school? That's where they went to school up on the
Oh,
hill,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think I remember I would love to find the tree if it's still there, because Grandpa
I looked
and
a while
part of their
back, and
initials.
I think it's all good. It was a pretty beat up tree anyway, but back in the old days, I used to see a picture once in a while that showed a bunch of the kids. There might have been 10 kids in a picture that were going to school there, and there were 8 of them that were Wippers. So I
Yeah,
don't know where the other 2 came from.
but it probably was just a local one-room schoolhouse
Oh, yeah,
up on top of the hill.
just barely at school.
Do you know the name of it?
Summit School,
Summit?
I think.
Okay, that would make sense.
Don't quote me on that one, but I think they had a lot of summits around there, so I think it could be school.
Somewhere I found a document that has a history of schools in Marion County. It's just like a brief summary, and I'll have to look and see if I can find that.
And somewhere in all this stuff, I have a history of, might be Cloverdale School.
Ah, yes, Larry mentioned, I did think, I thought before, I didn't remember, I could have brought that. Yeah, because we have that too.
Well, maybe he saw what I had and my stuff got, but it was your stuff. But anyway, yeah, there's something. And going to effect, I think it mentioned the teachers or maybe school or maybe, just some kind of record.
Well, speaking of school board, that's a good segue into.
Grandma's school board.
Yeah, Grandpa Carl served for, according to in his obituaries, 23 years on a school board.
Different one, yeah.
And great grandpa Herman was like, I think 30 years on a school board. So I'm not gonna surpass him because I quit at 20. But which ones did Grandpa Carl, it wasn't just, because he was ultimately in the Cascade, right?
Yeah.
Is that where he ended up?
He was on the school board at Cascade when they built the school, when they built the high school, which is the junior high now.
Was he because I know at one point he was kind of the chair of the school board. Was that when they were building the?
Only way I can answer that is that your sister has a red leather chair.
Oh.
And she thought that somebody in Vanderbilt had that. Story is that, the guy that was the architect, I have no idea who it was. He and Dad worked quite a lot together during the construction of Cascade. And as a thank you, this guy gave Dad his red velvet check. And Dad felt sort of guilty about taking the check.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, but he did, and it stayed around forever, and I was back in New York.
We got that one, huh?
Yeah, but she just didn't want to give it up.
Oh, I don't blame her.
No.
Yeah, so I have
In
the old,
fact,
I
I
have the
think
old
I might
desk.
have had it when she took it.
Yeah, you did. I think you saved it when Grandma was
Yeah.
dispersing things from the house. But yeah, okay. So, so where did, tell me about where your school, where you went to school.
I went to Cloverdale for 8 years. I was, we got to school pretty early, and we were out, playing, and of course, now we had a building called the Place Shed, and it was a cover, and we go in there, keep out the rain, and it had pea gravel. And the guys, throw gravel and whatnot,
Farming kids.
I
Oh,
got hit right there.
oh,
And then another time, I was wrestling with a cute little girl about something. And when she threw her head back, got me here. And that was that too.
oh.
Then another time, I think it was another girl, they had a bat. And they went like this with the bat. Caught me right here. Well, I had a mashed nose. And when I got to high school, coach was trying to get me a ride to Oregon State. So he took me over to introduce me to the baseball coach. And nothing happened. They were giving a ride to baseball coach. So that way he said, but the coach saw the coach someplace around Corvallis, asked him about me, and he said, "Oh, you mean the kid with the gold teeth?"
Oh.
That was me.
Well, that made you memorable.
Yeah, but didn't give me a ride either.
But you still got to go to Oregon State, be on the team for a while, right?
Well, back in those days, it was freshmen couldn't play varsity ball, so I got to play freshman ball.
But you got to play baseball at Oregon State.
Yeah.
The start of the baseball dynasty. So, well, since we're on baseball, why don't we talk about the grave diggers?
Oh, the good.
The grave diggers, yeah.
The
Tell
grave
us about the
diggers
grave
were-
diggers.
I never saw a grade digger. I think I saw a grade digger uniform, but that was primarily before the war baseball team, and it was all local guys. Uncle Ben was the pitcher. Dad played first. The guy that introduced Mom and Dad, named Archie Rankin, he was a catcher. He was also a man carrier. And I just remember running to the post office. He was in that. In fact, I think I'd been right next to the drugstore, Fraser's drugstore, which is in that area we were talking about. And I don't remember when the post office moved. Davis, I was gone. How that was going to go.
There's a Hennies. Is that Louis Hennies? Was on. Did he
Yeah.
play tennis? Was he on the team too?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's on.
I think he might have caught some too, or maybe he was a third baseman. Like I say, I never saw them play. I was too young to know who played what. And
Looks like he was quite a.
the Cath brothers, I think they both played.
He's quite a hitter.
Hmm?
Louis was quite a hitter.
Was he?
Yeah. So how did that work? Because Cloverdale, that was the Graydiggers. And I know Amstel had a team and
All the time.
all the, so did Cloverdale and then Turner also have a team?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what their name was? No.
I'll find out. They had a team, I know they had a team, but it might not have been at the same time.
Oh, gotcha.
Really, but really good, they're pretty close to her.
Right, right.
And their ball field was, right, just past where you turn off of,
Is it right after Wipper Road hits Parish
yeah,
Gap?
where,
By that
Southern
dairy?
Loop takes off from
Oh, I thought it was by that dairy.
area.
Isn't there like a dairy? You come down Wipper Road and there's Ennis Road. And then you're on Parish Gap before you make that turn, that curve. There's a dairy right there on the right. I thought that was where the baseball field was. Not far from the farm on Wipper Road. Is that where it was?
No, it's south of Cloverdale.
Oh, okay. Not where I thought at all.
And where, okay, what's the name of the road? Parish Gap. Where Summit Loop takes off Parish Gap.
The first one by the cemetery?
Yeah, the south is, yeah. And it was just probably about as far from that turnoff as it is, you know, on the left, but.
Oh, I know, I think of the name of that road. But I know the road you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. But the road on that you turn left for that?
Oh, okay, yeah.
To get to the baseball field?
Yeah.
Okay, because somewhere right over there was where Larry's family lived.
Yeah.
So we've been that way before.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but they all played each other and they had to, I mean, that sounds like that would be a lot of fun to me now. I think baseball's in the family blood.
Right.
Baseball's kind of cool. It would be fun to have teams, you know,
Oh, yeah.
to go play in the different towns today.
Well, that was my instinct. I was growing up with them. That was going to play town team ball. That's what they call it.
Town team ball?
Town team. And I did. But I got out, I graduated from high school. I played 1 year. Well, I'm Bill Fire, but then I went in the Army, and then I didn't get to play ball in the Army. No, I played softball. I did softball, but I didn't play any baseball.
Well, you played a lot of softball for when you were at State Farm, though.
Oh yeah, I got like ball by the time.
Okay, so let's see. Tell me more about, what were you growing? What was Grandpa growing? What were you harvesting and helping with on the farm?
Most of what we grew was grass seed.
Even back then.
Oh yeah. Well, it was a little ahead of the big bunch.
Oh, okay.
We had a little ryegrass, and it was all what we referred to as common ryegrass. It's planted, drafted each year, and a lot of perennial ryegrass didn't do those. And I think because, I don't know why. And then we had bent grass, and that was the favorite grass for golf course. Especially on a putting green.
Was that where you got that hook? Into golf? No.
I wouldn't play golf.
Okay.
But then we usually grew oats and wheat. Some of those were feed livestock. Some of them were sell. And the same thing, of course, true to grass seed. That was all sale stuff. And there was a cleaners over in Jefferson, and everything was in sacks, no bulk, you know. Nowadays, everything, test stuff. In those days, if a tractor pulling a combine and the guy sitting in the combine, with 2 sacks, everything's spouts, and a handle. And they turn the handle here and bring it right into this sack. And they get full, they switch it over to this, and they take this up off the mount that was on. So you get down the little power pack, they put an ear on the end of the sack and sew it up and put the ear on the other side, stick it off the side there, a little ramp thing that came down all the time. And it had a stopper at the bottom, and when you got around to the part of the field where you wanted to pick up your grass seed, you kick this thing in the sack, fall out on the ground, and then later you come out, pick them up, put on the truck, take them off with it. Lot of handling.
So it didn't change a lot from when I graduated from high school, because I worked in the seed cleaner on Heater's farm, and the only difference was they didn't have a tractor pulling a combine, they just had a combine.
Yeah.
And then they had a whole building with a seed cleaner, and we had to run that thing.
Yeah.
Run all that stuff through that cleaner and come out of chute in a burlap sack.
Yeah.
And you had to sew it closed and stack it, those muscles back then, you had to go stack it.
Well,
And we filled a lot of sacks, they had a lot of grass seed.
well, and what was really a killer was grass seed is fairly light compared to grain, and wheat is the heaviest. And I had to go out one time and load up a load of wheat sacks. They were probably about 120 pounds each. And it was damn killed me.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I could have been tossing those.
No.
No.
Could use help there.
So what happened to great grandpa Herman's prune orchard and the prune dryer? Because there's a prune orchard and a prune dryer up on the Wipper
Well, I
Hill.
can remember prune dryer, and then there was a tractor shed, and that was like a single car garage, small. And that's where they parked the tractor, keep it out of the way.
Just big enough to park the
That
tractor.
whole iron wheel tractor.
And that was by the prune dryer and the prune
Yeah,
orchard?
fairly close, yeah, it was 100, probably 100 yards. And then the dryer, the big building, and place to build fires down below and ducts to go up, and then there were prune tray, and it was like hardware cloth, and in a tray about that wide, about that long, and you fill that up with prunes out of the orchard. And then there are these columns that the beams mostly dries and dry out the fruit. And then as they dry, then they take them out the bottom. And I don't think I ever saw the dryer in operation. There were a lot of bats at dryer building. I didn't tangle with that one.
They were still, Grandpa was still using it, still harvesting the prunes or plums to make prunes.
We did
Prune plums.
harvest a whole bunch of prunes. I spent a lot of time on that little crawler disconnected prune orchards, and you could get a tackle weedy down so you could find the prunes as you ship them off the tree,
Oh, gotcha.
and they had to pick them up. And then we operated in few, but see, and when I didn't do anything in the prune orchard after my grandmother died, because Ben ended up with the prune orchard when the kids divvied up all the property.
Okay.
And then my 2 cousins inherited that when Ben died. And then a friend of mine bought it from them.
That's the place with all the trees along the driveway?
Yeah. That the prunings for in the northernmost field of that property. So before you went up crooked part of the hill where
Right. Okay. So, and those trees kind of might have been a little long in the tooth if Herman started that, was, you know.
trees.
Yeah, prune trees, they might not have been young prune trees.
Yeah, I don't recall. Remember, I put a couple of ugly gashes on when I was working with the disc through there, but back.
On the trees? Well, as long as you don't cut all the way around, that'll be okay. So how did you, tell me that more about the story about when you moved off the hill? That was Grandma that wanted to move down the hill,
Yeah,
right?
Mom wanted it. She bugged my dad to get off the hill for that. I got tired of listening to it. I can imagine when he much of that. But
He's pretty easy.
Huh?
He was pretty easy going.
oh, up until he wasn't.
Oh, that's where I get that. I'm like that. I'm like super easy going, and all of a sudden I'm done.
That is pretty old there. But yeah, she one of the things that I always got to kick that up. Dad wasn't really behind it. And I hate the particular one of the football field either. That's our place. Yeah.
I still feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm used to being
And,
down.
so we moved down, and this is an much older house. It's an okay house, it was waterproof and all that kind of stuff.
That's the one on Wipper Road.
Yeah.
Right. When did he buy that real fast? Did he, because that wasn't part of the farm acreage in the beginning, right? That came.
Right. No, that was a Bolton Oven park.
And did he buy that to move off the hill? Is that when he bought it? That land down there? That farm, do you know?
George Cadmus bought the property on the hill.
Oh,
He was the guy who was in World War II and went to the Denmark for the and survived.
oh, wow. So he bought that, and at that time, that's when Grandpa bought the,
Bottom land, yeah. There's a mile from the far home.
so I remember as a kid always hearing, Grandma and Grandpa talk about the cabin up on the hill. Like there's still something up there. That wasn't anything that they still had access to then?
I remember a cabin on the hill.
I know, that's just this odd thing that maybe I just made it up, but that's.
There was the house in the near place, but it wasn't a cabin, it was a house.
And they moved it down the hill.
Yeah.
By then, and they moved it down the hill.
Oh, that's different.
Oh, you can not very well.
Yeah,
So it was still up there.
no, it was the first thing out of there.
Ah, okay. Okay. So about then in the middle 40s, that's when he bought the property down on Wipper Road, and that's when you guys moved down.
Oh, that was in early 50s when he bought that.
Oh, right. You said you were in junior high school. Okay, it's building the house in the 40s. That's when that's.
45.
So a new house didn't satisfy Grandma, because that was a new house.
Good try.
He still wanted it. Okay, all right. That's where I got tangled up with that. Okay, so did that mean the farming you didn't have as much, there wasn't as many acres down there?
I ended up having about 160.
He would have been on both sides of the, and because Uncle Ben was part of the other side of that.
Yeah. Side where the house was in the barn is there's 40 acres. And then, that one was, 60, or maybe it was not quite that much. It was was not between Wipper Road and the Fairway. And the property line on the north was between Ben and Dad. Ben's property was on there.
Did you just go across to the west side of the road then, Vince?
No,
No, it's
Ben
just
only was on the east side of the road.
and to the creek, right? Where the, because I remember feeding his donkeys down by the creek.
Oh, yeah, it went down to the, yeah.
Yeah, right, right by the bridge.
That was about it, I think.
It was great fun when you were a little girl, feeding bread to the donkeys. It was nice about that. So, well, I know, I know Grandma had a garden, because I remember her having a garden out by this little machine shed where I seem to remember that's the only building that's still there. Is where I remember a combine being parked. The barn, I think, is gone. And the original house is gone, but the house that Grandma built's still there.
There's a dog cemetery.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh, so we can't forget to talk about pets, because that must be the pets that,
Well, no, that was working on it. After I left home, because for a while, I went out to see the folks. Time and this one dog always just loved me. And he was a border collie, they worked it up. And he came running out to see me and jumped up, but his hind legs gave out, he sort of fell down. And I said something about Dad about destroying him. And he said, oh, he knew he had to do it. He had to.
is he old? Is he an older dog
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Half the time, and I don't think they had any sheep in that.
Oh,
For no reason. So I said, well, if you want me to, I'll get hold of Don, who was a veterinarian, and we'll take care of it. Okay, but let me know when you're coming out. They were big. But I got Don, we got it all set up. I had to Don, we went out, we took the hole, got the dog down, the hole, Don gave me a shot.
do you remember that dog's name?
Well, there was, it might have been Tony. I don't remember, there was a couple of those dogs about that big. Fuzzy didn't make it off the field.
Was Fuzzy, there was one, there's a picture of a dog that it's not a border collie. Is that Fuzzy? Or is Fuzzy a border collie?
It might have been Penny, it might have been my dog.
Okay.
So look again.
I don't know, it's a portrait of the dog. I'd find it, because I have it on my phone, but we better not take the time to do that.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
That might have been Fuzzy.
I'll show you when we take a break.
That was a very traumatic experience for my dad. Dog would go anywhere, anytime. And as he got older, he couldn't make it to the truck. By the time he heard it, got up, got there. So he started sleeping under the truck.
Oh, no.
And Dad got in the truck one day and backed it up, ran
Oh,
back, then he had to take him out shooting himself.
oh.
That was tough.
I know from having animals myself, I know how hard that is.
Oh, yeah.
So was Fuzzy Grandpa's favorite dog?
Oh, probably.
And which one was your favorite?
Oh, probably it's Tony. As far as, I had my own little dog, and Penny.
Oh,
And he
okay.
wasn't worth paying for anything, but he's a deep little dog.
He was your friend. That's
Yeah,
that's something.
Oh, yeah, he used to just kill to get in bed with me. And then,
Did you let him sleep in bed with you? Did you let him come in the house?
oh, yeah. The sheepdogs, they were very uncomfortable. They were just, they were around and wanting to get out. But no, Penny was hot back in.
Wow. So Penny served as a good friend.
But
So how'd you come to go to the army? What-
everybody did in those days, unless you're a draft dodger, like some of our presidents have been.
So were you drafted, or did you just
I
you volunteered,
volunteered
right?
for the draft. It was active. Korea was going hot and heavy, and they were drafting guys right and left, but things were starting to wind down in Korea, so the draft wound down too, but we knew we were going to go. We had to go. And I went and checked with the draft board, and no, not this month, maybe next month. So we kept that for about 4 months in a row. I was getting sort of sick and tired of it. And then got a couple of other guys, buddy, high school mates, and we're all getting the put off thing. So somebody was working in Albany, and they said, "Why don't I go down and see if something?" So we transferred draft boards from Marion County to Lynn County. Volunteered for the draft. We were gone about 6 days.
Wow.
It worked great. So we got shipped to Portland and went through the physical and all the stuff, and went down to got on a train, went down to San Francisco, and saw somebody military down there. They give you tests, they get physical, they poke and prod stuff, and a couple more days we're sworn in, we're GI chosen. So then we all got shipped to Fort Ord, and things were going along great, and got put in a training company and started playing the game, and holidays came along, and we said had all these guys in this Fort Ord, and so half of them were going home at Christmas and half were going at New Year's, like a 3 or 4 or 5 day leave. And so I was chosen to go New Year's, which meant I had, I think, a 3-day weekend for Christmas. Not a bad day. And my folks came down and picked me up, or we got turned loose Christmas Eve, or whatever day it was. And we went down to Talanga to see,
It was Alice?
it must have been, I was trying to think of her mother was there, but I think it was just Alice, maybe. And then came back, then New Year's rolled around, so I had a plane ticket, and we went into San Francisco and flew home. So that turned out well. And then by the time we got back, they started talking about where we're going to go, and then I found out that I was going to be in the Signal Corps, and I was going to take over that. Yeah, I was going to learn how to be a field radio repairman, and I was so happy because I didn't have to go in the infantry. I didn't want to be in the infantry. So my job was going to be pole lineman. So that's fine. I'm not the infantry, that's fine.
So you were a lineman for the army?
So
That's bad.
yeah, I was tired.
And I don't sound a bit like Glenn Campbell.
So anyway, then I was going to be a pole. Did I say pole lineman?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So climb up telephone pole and hook a wire on, And
Are you afraid of heights?
well, I wasn't real crazy about it, but I never shitted up the pole full time.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that worked out well.
last night of basic training, we had to go out and go through called the infiltration course. That's where you crawl on your belly under live machine gun fire, except it's shooting with you instead of the crowd. So all you gotta do is find the spot where it is and stay with that spot. You can run through. And on the way out, we were slugging through this. It was a tank track, really, what it was. The loose sand was probably about that deep, and it was just miserable to go through. And we'd had some difficulty with the 5th platoon, and we were the 6th platoon. And their guy started getting back with our guy to the other buffalo and stuff, and this guy was next to me, was from the other platoon, and he reached out and pushed the guy in front of me and then knocked me down a bit. I've been supposed to the guy in front of him, and then kicked me off, though. Then he dropped my shoulder, knocked the guy in his butt. I don't know if that's okay. Well, we get up the top of the hill, they give us a breather, and this kid that I knocked down came up to him and he said, "You knocked me down back there? That you got in my way," and I ran into him. Pow! With a rifle butt.
Oh. In the nose again?
Made a little break in the skin. I think I had one drop of blood coming off. So we had an old guy that was going through basic again because he re-upped. He was going in for another enlistment, but he'd been out too long, so he had to go through basic training. So they sent him to the cadre helper, basically. He said, "That's all right. We'll be there after dark. You'll be able to get even." No, thank you. I didn't want to mess up going for where was I got said? Signal Corps. Anyway, because I might read hell on that, just pulled out, set aside, and who knows what's going to happen. So they called us down to the company headquarters. It was after dark, and we had a black, that's the right word or not, but anyway, a colored lieutenant that was going to deal with whatever our case was. So he started on his kid and wanted to know if I was going to press charge. I said, "No, sir, I'm not." And he said, "Well, I almost wish you would." No, I said, "Just give this guy help. Just go." I know where the kid that did it had been, but he sure learned how to shoot. And if we left, went back up to the company, and I had a good buddy.
Oh, because you didn't press charges.
Yeah, and the funniest part for me, the guy's name was Schultz,
Oh.
and he was a Chinese guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe half Chinese,
I don't know, but I don't know.
married a German, perhaps.
Anyway, we left good buddies. Then went home and was there for, I think we had a week, 10 days or something. Then met this guy in basic that had a car. Well, he said he was going to drive back to Georgia, but I wanted to go with him. So two of us drove back to Georgia. Oh, we got back there and got taken more tests and stuff, and they called me and said, "We're going to send you to field radio repair. Don't belong in full alignment school." Okay, man, fine. So Singapore, so.
I'm okay with
So when I went from the knothead group, which was full alignment, to the second best school the Army had.
that. Oh, that was
And
a
it
lucky
was-
draw.
and draftees didn't get picked for that because you weren't in long enough to pay for the education part. It worked, I did.
And that's the
And
one that was in Sacramento, right?
that's where I ended up getting stationed. I was at Augusta, Georgia, with the schooling. Then they gave me a train ticket, and I got in. I think it was on Thanksgiving or 4th of July. They came to the train to pick me up, and they were having a brouhaha at this Sacramento State because of the softball team. And some of the guys thought they were getting away with stuff they shouldn't get away with. They had a protest and a challenge softball game, bastards. And we're warming up, and one of the guys came up and wanted to play for the varsity team.
Twist your arm, right?
Yeah, well, I was already, I think it was catching or anyway, I don't remember the one, but I made the team anyway. And that was a good deal because I think we played in 2 different Sacramento City leagues. So there was 2 games a week, and we'd go on bivouac each summer. We had to come back to play our home game. Well, that took a couple of days out of the field. It was good duty.
That doesn't sound so bad. And how long were you in the Army? Was it 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
And then you came home to Oregon?
Well, I came home to Oregon a couple of times. Yeah.
Right, but you came home and you didn't have to go back.
Right.
To California. So, you said you were catching, where, when you were playing ball, what position did you usually play?
Oh,
Well, let's start with baseball. Let's start with baseball versus
well,
basketball.
I was an outfield primarily. I played a little first base. I was a junior in high school, I was a sophomore in high school, and tried to make shortstop out of me. And didn't work very well.
And for freshman ball at Oregon State, where did you play?
Oh, yeah, I didn't play much. I was an outfielder, but I hurt my arm. I was playing basketball in a church league in Silverton, and got a rebound and turned to throw a long pass down the floor and put a muscle in there. And
That's a problem in baseball.
yeah, and in those days, you know nothing to do for it. Rest, I guess.
Right.
Oh, anyway, I couldn't. I used to have a good arm, but I couldn't get it left field to third base after that.
So that's where I got my arm, because when I was playing softball, I could, they would be amazed, it was co-ed, and I could throw someone out from the outfield at first base. And they just loved it, because the guys would think, I'll hit it to her. And my team loved it, so I got that arm from you, Dad. Thank you.
I get an assist.
Yeah, so how about fast pitch?
Hmm?
How about fast pitch? Where did you play the same spots in fast pitch?
Let's see. I played. Yeah, I think all I played fast pitch until George Simon started his team, and that's funny. There were 2 teams. George's team, and then one called Capital Coffee, which was the son of the guy that owned the Capital Coffee shop. And they had some good ball players. We had some good ball players. We became natural competitors. And the wife of the guy that had the Capital Coffee team, I saw it downstairs at once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's slipping out here now. He had a bad case of
Yeah, give me a hint. I'll
yeah,
help.
bad memory. Anyway, she's had quite a colorful health history. I guess that's why she's here. I don't really know her.
Just recognize her.
Hmm?
Just recognize her.
Yeah, I just have to know her, speak to her.
Well, how about if we go back to, because with the travel, I know, let's go back to the sheep thing, because you traveled with Grandpa with the sheep in 4-H, right? So maybe we can
No,
talk
I went to, we traveled to San Francisco a couple times.
Okay.
To what they call the cattle palace. I don't know if that's even on anymore or not.
Was that to buy or sell?
Sure.
Oh, to show. Okay.
And
How
then
did
we always
showing
went to
fit
the
with-
state fair.
How did showing, besides your 4-H, did showing help Grandpa? Did that help with selling sheep? Or is that just for 4-H, the showing?
It's I guess he's showing what they call that open class, and that's probably fun. Show off a little, and it might make your sheep a little more popular. And if your name gets out there, it makes a difference. They recognize it, and if you've got a history of doing well in the fair sheep show, it'll help you. It's not a big advertising gimmick like we see nowadays, but I mean, a positive one.
So did he always buy lambs to fatten, or did he breed some?
Yeah.
He did both? That's what I thought. And how did you get into 4-H with all that? Was that just a natural thing, or?
Yeah, the lamb show was coming up, and I was only 9 years old, just barely 9. And we were gonna show some sheep and live, so Dad said, don't put you in 4-H.
43?
I not heard of 4-H. Okay, Dad, no, kind of thing. Go to sheep, and I didn't know how to show sheep. I didn't know nothing.
Um,
And I did manage to not let the sheep get away from him.
That's a good start.
Good stuff. And anyway, we ended up having the best time in the show, and
The very first time?
yeah,
And is that picture?
that's the one. The
So
guy.
you were a very young 4-H recruit in that picture?
Was that
That was your first months in 4-H?
my first day?
First day? Wow. Okay.
And I know he found somebody in another part of the county agent or something that made a 4-H'er out of it. There I am.
Was there, because they usually have the local, I guess, community 4-H groups, was that not the case?
No, I was an independent,
You were the only
the only
4-H
kid. Yeah.
kid? There were no other 4-H'ers in Turner? Or at least was it sheep, because they have the different.
Yeah, we didn't know any other 4-H'ers, put it that way.
Okay, all right.
And then got a little older, then they were found out about other projects, 4-H projects, health clubs and that kind of stuff. The picture around here someplace.
They even had square dancing for 4-H.
Hmm?
They even had square dancing for 4-H. That's where I learned to square dance. It's 4-H. They had lots of stuff. I think that's better.
Yeah,
Although the square dancing is fun when you mess up.
yeah.
It's good for that. Element left, element right. Oh, I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so how long were you in 4-H? age out of 4-H?
Well, right for when, I guess what got me out of 4-H was going in the military. 18 or 19. So yeah, I was 18 or 19 when I got up.
So what kinds of, did you only do things with sheep in 4-H? You had a trip back to Washington DC with 4-H, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was a one man of a contest. But no, I even had cooking class in 4-H.
Oh, so you had the diverse experience in 4-H. Okay.
Yeah,
So you've been faking it this whole time, you know how to cook?
yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't been faking. Maybe the desire is not there for it.
Gotcha, that does
I
matter.
doubt if I'll ever get that hungry.
I taught you how to open a can of soup, make a sandwich. Oh, well, go ahead. What else did you do in 4-H?
Soil conservation was beef. I raised a beef one year. And that's about all I think of.
So how did, I'm curious, if you don't mind a deeper dive in that, because the local groups, you know, they usually have their the things they do. So if you were an independent, how did you end up doing all these different things with 4-H? When
Well,
who taught you?
got acquainted with more people, learned what was going on.
Did the extension agent connect you to other people to do these projects?
Eventually the fall
Okay.
on
Who taught you how to cook? Who taught you how to cook? Do you remember?
I remember it was an ongoing thing. You know, you had a meeting once a month or something, and it was something to do. Obviously didn't learn a whole lot.
How to run a kennel.
But then the groups, the club, we did them. We had 13 kids in our sheep club, and the dad was our leader, and he just sort of supervised what we did. And then we decided to name ourselves Lucky 13. I don't know where that came from exactly, but it caught the press's eye, and they used to write up articles about the Lucky 13 Sheep Club. And we went, I think, it might have been the state fair, and our club won 13 first place.
Wow, that's worthy of an article.
There were 13 kids, yeah, and 13 first place.
That was, because 13 is considered not a lucky number.
Yeah.
I think it can be. So it's like a, I don't know.
But it was a ear-catching, eye-catching, whatever
Yeah,
kind of thing.
both.
Yeah, yeah.
13, like. So, how old were you when you were in Lucky 13? Were you 13?
Might have been.
Is it about then?
Yeah, might have been.
I'm asking because if I ever find an article, I'm wondering what year to look.
Oh.
Because I can look in the newspapers.
Yeah. Well, there's some stuff in that book.
Oh, so it might be, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't thought of that. You might already have it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I know there's a Lucky 13 headlines in there.
oh, okay. Oh.
And then we got asked to go to some of the business men's organizations and luncheons in Salem. Matter of fact, there was a fella that was sort of what they call a tail twister in this one of the groups. And I think his name, his picture, is on a thing downstairs of the starters of this place.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, he was a real character.
When you crossed paths with him when you were doing the group meet and greet with the 4-H group? You were doing like the business groups,
Yeah, we went to their lunch.
like Rotary or
Yeah,
things like that.
And there's some of that stuff in that book.
So was that year the first time that you
Yeah,
participated in the lamb show?
That's the little groundbreaker right there.
But so that's the very first time, and then did you participate in the lamb show every year for a while after that?
That guy's name was Kiss, but that's the only one I remember, right? Sort of an unusual name in my ear, so I always remembered it.
Kiss, like,
K-I-H-S.
oh yeah, that's different. Yeah. So where was the lamb show when you, it wasn't always, because where I remember it being was by the elementary school, and then you'd have the pens in the outdoor play area, and the dog trials were out in the sport field, yeah. So where was that?
That was over by the then Masonic Hall.
So that's the one on the north side of the road going toward Wipper Road? Is that right? Or the,
It would be, it was parallel the train track,
okay.
and it was actually train property, train track, or the Southern Pacific property.
So that lamb show was, so talk a little bit about, because I know I have my perception of what I thought the history was that Grandpa and his brother Ben and Louis Hennis and the Aarons, they were all kind of part of starting that. Is that true?
Yeah, I think the lamb show started in like 33.
Oh, okay.
And Dad was the chairman or president or whatever the telephone title was. And
Top shape title. Just kidding.
and I think Henry Aarons might have been the manager. And I don't know, Louis Hennis was involved in it, and Gap Brothers were involved in it. And there was a Merle Pearson, I think he was involved in it.
So it took a village to get it going.
Yeah, it took quite a while. And then they got tied in somehow with the Marion County Fair Board. And I think the Fair Board came up with prize money. Because you get like $5 if you have won first place, and $4 for second, that kind of stuff. Even though things were tough in those days, it was not a big payer. But you could pick up a couple bucks.
But that lamp show went for, I mean, I think it's evolved here lately, but it went for, it lasted decades.
Oh, yeah.
It was a
It
big
started in
deal.
33 and it's still going on.
Right.
It's
Do they still call it the
well,
lamp
a
show
year
though?
longer than I have.
Do they still call it the lamp show? I think maybe not.
Yeah, I think the common phrase is the lamp show, and I think the official calling would be a Marion County Family Lamp Show.
Oh, gotcha.
It'd be Marion County, yeah. Marion County Family Lamp Show.
So how many places was it located? When did it, do you remember about when it went to
Well,
the
it
Turner?
started, 33, it started where that one was, in Riverland. And then whenever they moved it to the grade school, when it was still the grade school.
So it's just those two places?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did you show there till you went off in the Army then?
Well, yeah, I probably, and then I had a deal with Dad that he ran the PA system, and I was the class and whatever stuff. So he was sort of busy, and I made a deal with him. I'd show his sheet. He did that.
I was gonna ask about showing as an adult, because I remember, because I think I mentioned I had to help a time or two. I didn't know anything about it, but I remember you were doing it.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me how to goose the sheep, get them to move.
Yeah.
I know what I was doing.
It took a little getting used to, didn't it?
Yeah. But it worked.
Yeah.
I don't think I lost one either. Or if I did, you saved me. Because you could hang on to 3. Because you couldn't do a pen of 3. There was somebody else that helped with the.
Well,
one of those.
yeah, there's always been 3.
Pens of 3, pens of 5, pens of 10, I think, and then there was like a
Yeah, I
ram
think,
and a U and a weather.
Yeah, well, yeah. There was ewe lamb, yearling lamb, and it never had ram lamb or in 4-H. I don't know why they did that, because that was the sign at the time. We used to have ram classes in open class, but I never had a ram class in 4. I think FFA, is that right, or FAA?
FFA.
Yeah.
Future Farmers of America.
Okay, anyway, they had ram classes. And I think I don't know whether they didn't want to talk about reading and girls being in the class or what. It was always sort of, I always suspected that.
Well, what else do you remember about what was around town? Who else did you know that had businesses in Turner? And where did you typically go for basics or for fun? Were there places you could go for fun in Turner when you were young?
I remember one of the things I always loved, panning. When Wally, my cousin Wally, and I palled around a lot. We played ball together, and
He's pretty much in the same class
yeah,
with you.
he was like 4 or 5 months older than me, but we were in the same class.
And Don was like 2 years younger.
Yeah. And so, but Walt and I used to pal around in high school and at Turner. And we took lunches in those days, with school lunch and everything. And so we take our brown bag, head downtown, and go to the tavern.
High school kids going to the tavern
We
for
go
lunch?
there, we watch them play 9-ball, which is a pool game.
Right.
And eat our sandwich, and when we got done, get up, go back to school. And nobody cared that we were there or not. We behaved ourselves, didn't interfere with anybody. It was really a lot of fun to watch these guys. And a bunch of the guys over the summit came over there, and sometimes they'd have a hamburger, sometimes they wouldn't, but they were the ones playing 9-ball. It was fun to watch.
Well, I was gonna ask if you knew who was there during the day. Maybe it was just their lunch break. Their lunch bowl.
Oh, I remember the daddy of the Berkmans, the senior Berkman, one of the guys that was there. He was an older guy. He probably wasn't working anywhere.
You could take a longer lunch break.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, Don and Brad. Okay. And then, I'm not sure, there was another, one of the Don and Brad had a son and daughter that were about my age, but I can sort of remember the son, but I can't remember the daughter.
So when you say high school, is that where the elementary school is now?
Yeah.
And was that just, well, that was 9th through 12th grade, because you went eight years at Cloverdale,
Yeah.
and then 4 years at,
No, I don't know, in 2 years.
oh, because the other school, Cascade.
2 years, Turner, that.
Right. Forgot about that. So did they, was that just because they were expanding, or did they join another school district, you know?
I remember hearing that there was talk, I was out at Cloverdale going to school, and there was talk about a junior high schools.
Oh.
And that didn't happen, but the high school did. And then the junior high school happened next. That was high school, the junior high school.
Well, it kind of did, because I think what was the high school is now the junior
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
It just took a while.
Yeah. And then there was a big fire that Jim burned down at Cascade. And I don't remember that. I know it was a hot fire.
Was Amstel separate, their own? Because, I mean, Amstel's part of Cascade School
it was-
District now,
As
or
a
was
matter
it?
of fact, when they first came up with this idea, they decided that the two schools' teams would not compete with one another.
They'd still exist, but they wouldn't compete?
Right.
Oh.
They didn't want to have any resentments between the kids, you know, that would affect them later on. I was a fair because Amstel had this kid named Russell, Eldon Russell. He was a fireball pitcher, and I thought that's good. I don't think the bad against him.
Oh. That's stuff in the state and school district, the 3 middle schools, Sublimity, Mary Lynn, and then Staten. There for a while, they each had their own teams,
Yeah.
and they each do their own thing. And then one year the budget was in crisis, and we were going to consolidate on school sports, it created a huge drama. But it was a similar thing where they didn't play
Yeah.
with each other, and actually it ended up better when they all came together as one team.
Yeah, I think I hear those kinds of stories about schools, kids, and I called it the Bad News Bears. I thought that was such a terrific movie. And the kids didn't care, but the parents did.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bad News Bears.
The parents came out of the woodwork
Yeah.
when we were consolidating. Yes, that was
Yeah,
the biggest. We
like
had to have the
big.
meeting in the elementary school gym. There were so many people that came.
Yeah.
And I actually said, so you're telling me you'd rather us cut a teacher and leave the, and they said yes. 'Cause- and I was like,
Yeah.
I was just amazed. But anyway. Okay, so what else did, what did you do, what else did you do for fun besides go to the tavern for lunch from high school? What were family traditions or family, what made the family get together? Or what did you do around the holidays?
Well, we usually went, I'd say the most common experience was dinner at Aunt Mary. And I can remember during World War II, we'd go to Camp Adair, which is over by Gerald was, and pick up soldier and bring him home for lunch.
Oh,
And
for the holidays? Or
it was
just
usually, as I
anytime?
recall, it was Christmas Day.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, a lot of people did that.
But that's really cool.
One of the things that they encouraged the civilian population. They remember the guys used to call it Swamp Adair. Because
Swamp it there.
Oregon's wonderful weather.
Did that lead to, I'm curious because if you grew up with that experience, did that lead you to adopting the Blue Angels when you in Borrego? Because it's kind of the same, kind of similar thing, sort of.
Oh, I think, for my experience, the Blue Angels came from, flying, which was a big interest to me, and no one kept another guy. And I'm sure the Thunderbirds are the same way, but those Blue Angels are just the epitome of class when it comes to people.
But you always hosted. You'd host one, right? You'd host some.
Oh, yeah,
So it
we'd have
sounds-
lunch tables every year. They
That's
would,
why it seems like the Christmas dinner.
oh, yeah, but they'd come over to us, they'd come over on, El Centro, that's where they do their spring meeting. One of my favorite things was that we have a dinner for them, and there'd usually be 5 to 7 guys. And some of them were pilots, some of them were mechanics, mixed group. And they came over one year, and the boss, number one, didn't come along. The lead solo came over. He was sort of in charge, and he was doing what I call a dog and pony show, doing something. I think he was getting out toward the end of things, and I stood up and I said, "I got a question for you." And I was coming back, and I was describing it I was flying my plane, and I said, I looked down, and here goes 5 and 6 flying underneath me. 5 and 6 are the solos, the ones that do fancy aerobatics. And I said, my question is, what the hell are you doing out in my airspace? And he goes, and gave me some kind of an offbeat answer. And we became buddies. But he loved that. Nobody called him much something like that. And they were up here at Hillsborough that year, their tour. And I got 28, were you there?
I was gonna say, is that the one that the
That's
whole
that.
crowd of us went to?
Yeah, and Riley got the number 4, so he wanted number 4 to sign it. And number 3 looked up, he stayed with us that year. And he said, "Hi, Jerry." And number 5 looked up, and that was the guy I called up. And he, "Hi, Jerry." And I think Riley was impressed.
Yeah,
I always thought that was, the way that guy handled that was just so great, you know, he just gave me a phony answer. And I even got a Christmas card from
oh, really?
him.
Well, what else did you ever get in trouble, Dad?
Who, me?
You were a pretty good kid, right?
I was sort of.
But you weren't perfect.
I was sort of a disgusting, nice kid. Yeah,
I think pretty much
I
everybody
didn't want
liked
to do
you.
anything that cost me any time off the ball field. As I should be ashamed, I went to school to play ball. And I,
You're not the first one, and you certainly weren't the last one.
I learned in 4 sports, and I was one of the things I wanted to do. And it was not the right thing to do, but I didn't, my senior year of baseball was not good enough. But
So at that time, you were the center for the basketball team, right?
mostly I was a power forward and a backup center, yeah.
And you were 6 feet tall.
But I could climb a guy's frame pretty good.
And you have a grandson who's 6'8", and he still didn't, well, he did on occasion play center, but post now.
Yeah.
But not very.
You're a number now, you know.
Yeah. So the other sports, tell me about the other sports.
Oh, I was,
How did you get 4 letters? Because that's kind of hard to do.
well,
now.
they tried to make a runner out of me when I was a freshman. Because I was pretty quick, but I wasn't, I was quick for the group of kids we had, but I wasn't that fast overall, you know. But I ran, senior year, I ran relays. I ran 100-yard dash, and then I ran on they call it 220 relay, which is 4 guys, and you pass the baton one to the other. And they had me running first, that way I only had to handle a baton once. So I wouldn't drop, because I didn't practice as much.
Because you're doing track and baseball in the spring,
Yeah.
and then football in the fall, and basketball in the winter.
Coach came out and talked to my folks about wanting to make a quarterback out. Because I had.
You had a good arm.
Huh? Yeah. But I didn't know sick of about the game. No. And the thing I really enjoyed most was going to practice and playing linebacker on defense. And I wasn't supposed to be doing that. I was supposed to be sitting on my butt or playing quarterback. And,
Do you like tackling?
oh, it's okay. Yeah.
What did you like about linebacker?
You'd be able to get there and push people around. I was just out there having fun. You know.
Roughhousing.
Yeah.
Organized roughhousing.
Yeah.
With a few rules. Because I think boys kind of did that.
Yeah.
Maybe girls not so much then, not that they, I like playing football myself. So you wanted to talk about barbers. Not the hair cutting barbers, but the the family barbers.
Del Barber is the one that most people remember. I don't remember when we lost Dad, but they had Barber's Grocery, and it was on, I think it'd be Chicago. And I don't think it was across from the tavern, that's where it was. That's a good locator.
Is the tavern still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Barbers lived next door. And the grocery store, as I recall, was on the alley. And then their house was next door, a very attractive house, very well kept up, and neat spot. And Bill, I never really knew very well, but he, I don't know the total thing, but he opted out of his dad's store, started his own store, what the ownership, and I don't have any idea what it was.
In the same town?
Yeah, across the street from one another.
Oh, wow.
I
That's interesting.
think maybe Dell had the meat market. That might have been the way they did it.
Ah,
He took over the meat market and his dad. Because I don't remember when that went under or when they tore the house down, but it was really an attractive place then. And they were nice people, the good old, small town business people. It was a good place to be.
that makes me want to ask a little more about that, because I just recently saw a show about the evolution of grocery stores, supermarkets. And you forget that it wasn't the one-stop shop.
Yeah, oh,
And so it was like individual, the general store and the butcher and the this and that. And so is that how it was in Turner back then, where you said the son took over, one had the meat market and the other had the other store?
think that's probably not too uncommon for that time.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking,
Yeah.
because you forget.
Yeah.
That's not how it is now.
And I can remember the Prather's drugstore had a soda fountain. That was more of a big city thing, and I can remember the soda fountain at
Ball Brothers?
this is in Salem.
Oh.
And Fred Meyer had a store at Salem.
Now they have 3.
Yeah.
Well, 2 technically, I guess. One's in Kaiser.
I only bundle. Anyway, it was we'd go into Salem or Albany, find a place to park on the street, and then watch people go by. This was a World War II thing again. Wasn't that many things to do, so you went to those.
People watching? Well, that's always entertaining, though.
Oh, yeah, especially Albany.
Well, did they have because like I can remember when I was in high school, they'd have the gut, where you just drive your car up and down, up and down, up and down, and talk. Did they have anything like that where they kind of cruise in your car and
Oh,
talk to
yeah,
people your
I can
age?
remember
Where did that happen?
we go to Salem on a Saturday night, and sometimes we go to a movie, sometimes just go cruising, driving around. But I remember we used to always make it a practice to go by Bales and Brady Towing.
I remember that name, but I don't remember where it was.
They were just north of Meyer Frank.
Oh, now why would you want to go by there?
See what the freshest wrecks were.
Oh,
Because you see, I remember one night in particular, there was a real bad wreck, and there was still blood dripping off the windshield.
oh,
It was time to slow us down going home.
oh, yeah. Yeah, it would leave an impression. Yeah. So, what other kinds of things did you, or what other kinds of businesses were there? Like when you went to a movie, where did you go back then? It was in Salem?
Movie experience. Don and Wall and I especially, after one of the holiday dinners, we get out of there and cook with the kids and then go to the movie. And there used to be a theater in North Salem, it's called Hollywood. I can't remember Hollywood what, but it's right about where Fairgrounds Road takes off. And anyway, got there then.
Kind of by the fairgrounds?
Yeah.
There's a Hollywood Bowl out there.
Hmm?
There was a Hollywood bowling
Yeah,
alley.
that was way up. And that started out in baseball.
Well, and they had
We had
a
a
car
race.
racing
I
place. out there.
raced the car on.
You did? Ah,
Let me get back to Hollywood Bowl, or Hollywood Bowl. Yeah. It was usually second run movie, or almost awful bad movie or something. Anyway, a lot of times they were cheaper movies in that town. And that became a factor sometimes. Yeah, we went out there to watch, I don't know what movie, but they were sitting there, pick up the duck, walking down the aisle.
Like a quack quack? Not like a U of O duck?
Yeah, now he's a little better looking at that. Anyway, this duck,
Be faster than a beaver.
what do you got? One of the guys, Don or Wally, one of them got up, chased the duck, caught it, threw him outside and moved back. But I tell you, finding that duck at a movie theater was a one-time experience.
Wow, I guess. I've never heard of such a story. That would be pretty entertaining. So what kinds of stories did like your grandparents tell you about stuff, and what did they?
My grandparents, my grandfather died when I was 2 months old.
Right?
And,
One of them did anyway.
my maternal grandfather died when my mom was 10 years old.
Right? So you didn't ever, so it'd just be grandmothers then.
I never,
You didn't know Cora very well, probably.
no, Alice, I didn't know real well. She was a nice old lady, and she ran her hand through the wringer on the washer a couple of times. That would used to be a pretty common occurrence. They'd have the washer out there, and then they'd run the clothes through there to get the water out. And they'd run their hand through too.
Wasn't that those hand cranks, or were they electric?
These were electric.
Oh, that would be a little tougher.
Hey, crank, stop.
Right, that's what I was asking. So then it might have been Grandpa Carl's, because he was the youngest, so his sisters were, some of them were quite a bit older. So did any of them ever tell you stories about what they did when they were kids? Like I heard how they would just decide to walk to Salem for
Well,
fun.
that would have been the dad.
They would do that?
Yeah.
Let's go have
Saturday
some fun.
night, you gotta go out.
So no cars, and not a horse or anything, we'll just walk to Salem.
Well,
I can't imagine. I don't think kids would do something like that now. I might, but I don't think it would. Guess, let's see.
I don't know what route they took.
That'd probably be about a half marathon, just down the road.
Well, you start cutting across country, it's not that far.
Yeah, as the crow flies.
That's far I'd want to go, but I mean, it's.
Right. Did they tell you any other stories about when they were kids, growing up, that you remember?
No.
Too busy farming
Well,
and playing baseball.
farming will probably took more time to the baseball.
Did your dad tell you much about his dad?
I think he made some comment one time, I think that my grandpa must have had a episode of some kind as he was dying. And I think he sort of jumped on Dad and chewed him out or something. Really bothered.
Oh, yes.
I bet they were.
That was his dad's last days, and that'd be sad. That would be sad for them to be.
Yeah, that would be a forwarding thing.
Right.
And when the mom called me up and said, "See, my dad is a chief." Calls from people out of Turner. I went out there with him too. He just bowled and good way to go.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I remember when Grandma passed away. I remember I was so. I still have good memories of. I mean, it's kind of weird to say good memories, but I remember finding the notes. They were married they just had their 50th anniversary before Grandpa passed away. And I remember finding notes they'd written to each other in the drawer when Grandma died. And it was pretty clear that they seem to have a really, really good, loving, they loved each other all those 50 years, which is a special thing, I think.
They didn't have the easiest life.
I know, but they seem to stay
Yeah.
connected I know everybody has challenges, but I think that's the magic. The magic happens when you work together to solve them instead of where you let the challenges break you apart.
It's tough time. And the Sonic Eastern Star thing was good for me. Dad loved that kind of stuff. And Mom got drawn in partially because Dad thought it'd be good for her to get out, meet people, meet new people. And I think
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I didn't know, I don't know what she was like when she was, a young mom to you. I know she was very reserved. My initial impression of her, she wasn't an outgoing at first, but she was that later.
yeah.
She always wanted to go.
Yeah. But I can remember her relationship with TJ.
Oh, yeah.
They disgusting almost.
Well, she wasn't happy when I was pregnant with him. She wasn't happy at all when I was pregnant with him. She was, oh, Laura. But boy, she thought the world of him. And when she passed away, and I think it was Cora. Was it Cora? One of her friends at Grandma's funeral said to TJ when he was, how old was he? He must have been about 8-ish. And one of her friends came up and she says, I'm gonna get emotional. She said, oh, your grandma loved you so much. And he just burst into tears. Because they did seem to have kind of a special relationship.
I think TJ must have been about Mom died in
96, right? Yeah, that's why I think he was 8 at her funeral. And she called up almost every day, not quite every day, but she called up almost every day. What you doing? That's her greeting. I really missed that when she was, I didn't get the call anymore. You don't think about that at the time, but I still think about that sometimes.
Those things are hard to forget sometimes.
So what do you miss about Grandpa? Can you say it without getting too emotional? It makes me emotional talking about that stuff.
Yeah,
Can you say it without?
He was a good friend. And he looked out for me. And he just pretty quiet about it. Didn't stick his nose in, but he was there.
I think he was a very special man. Very special man. A unique man. With a big heart.
Yeah.
I think he looked out I think he looked out for everybody because
What?
I think he looked out for everybody.
Well, I am probably more aware of it personally, but I think, I know he was, I think he was a little concerned about his brother a lot of time. And probably rightly so. But then it go off on a tangent sometimes. Maybe his heart was always in the right place.
Yeah, I was going to say because his boys were adopted.
Yeah.
They were Pauline's nephews. Pauline's nephews, right? Pauline.
Yeah.
Because Ben remarried, and I can't remember her name, right?
Who?
Didn't Ben?
Oh, yeah, Pauline. The boys.
Right, but then Ben married somebody after that,
Yeah.
and I can't remember her name. But Pauline was the aunt. It was her brother's boys. And did that happen in the area by Turner, that train? Right?
Yeah, it was Big Road.
Battle Creek? And one of them were on the cowcatcher of the train?
Let's go with that.
one of the boys, was it Don or Wally, were on the cow catcher up the train?
Yeah, I think it was Don.
And amazing they survived that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about that?
You sure? Did you talk about your cars?
Oh, no, we better talk about, tell me about your cars.
Well, somebody was asking, wanted to know about my first car.
Dave was.
Oh, that was a 29 Ford Model A.
That you did not buy from Bull Brothers.
I did not buy it.
And that's because weren't, well, they didn't sell used cars, right? They sold new cars. They sold used cars, but you were just getting a beat up old car for your first car. Is that what it was?
Well, it was sort of that way, 29 Ford. And then my second car belonged to my Uncle Henry. When he said,
Oh, not okay. When you said Henry, I thought of Alice's brother, but okay, he was a
Oh.
Henry. There's too many of the same names.
and that was, Henry was a traveling salesman. He covered, I think, Western Oregon.
What did he sell? Remember?
I think I'm on it.
Oh, well.
Might have been auto parts.
Oh,
That's the only thing that sounds plausible. But
Was
I
it-
really don't know.
was it his company car that he drove to?
Yeah, it's what he drove for business. I think it was his car. I don't think it was his company.
Oh,
Oh, no.
right. Gotcha. All depends on how it worked. So it makes you wonder if he's selling auto parts, if he took good care of his car.
Yeah, I don't know how many miles it had on it. But the only thing I didn't really like about the car is that the rear end set up too high. And the vacuum shift, they had I didn't like the shift. It was a big deal for a Chevy, not as far as I was concerned.
So what model was the first car? 29 what?
Not late.
A Model A. So that was a Ford.
Just a squirrel.
And then you went to a Chevy for your second one? Did you have a Dodge for your third one?
Well, I think I went back to Ford and I had a 53 coupe. I got that one out of the service. And then right as I got out, I got a 55 hot top. That was a
So
nice car.
53, that would be kind of that round, fat body,
Yeah.
right? And then later, was it more, did they have wings
It had
or the tail fins?
fenders that had, I don't know, they didn't know it was go cedar bush.
Oh, that's why it's a coupe.
Yeah.
So they're getting less old as you get older, your
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
That was the fourth one.
Yeah, the first, and then I bought a bad mistake.
I can't believe that because you have a gift for buying, you find good cars.
Well, this is a good car, I couldn't pay for it.
Oh, that was the problem. Okay. I
Oh,
can
yeah.
think of a car you've had that, because we've had, you've had like the Wrangler and the Cherokee and
Yeah, that was
there's a
big
van. I mean, any car that has come our way that you found was a good car. So you have a knack for it.
I don't mistreat him.
Well, you find a good one to start with, even if it's used, and then you take care of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, to this day, that Cherokee that you towed with the motorhome.
Oh, yeah.
Cherokee. To this day, Riley wants to kick himself that we let someone haul that off.
Oh, yeah, that was a good car.
Yeah, he loved that. So did Larry. He went back again, but can't get it back again.
Or is it,
Well, no, not now.
well, they keep it that way for a bit around.
Probably. But Riley keeps looking for another one just like it. He hasn't stopped.
Well, he did have another bike, didn't
He has a Cherokee, but it's not exactly like that
he?
one.
Oh,
really like that one. Like I said, you have a gift for picking a cool car that's a good car.
I know that's neat wheels.
Yeah, yeah. Including a few Corvettes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that last one, I really miss that car.
That was another really cool car.
Yeah,
A classic. Even though it wasn't quite old enough to be the technical classic. It was it 2004?
2000. And the guy I bought it from was here. His wife was still here.
Do you remember the Columbus Day storm?
Oh, definitely.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was working at the State Farm Regional Office. It was payday. And I guess they wouldn't let us out early because of the payday, but they did give us a check. And then when quitting time came around, we left. And wind was blowing to beat hell, and pulling out onto Portland Road, and here comes this tree, and it was not going to fall on me, but it was really something to watch that tree fall down. And I went downtown to take my check to the bank. Everything was closed. And got back to our apartment. We lived there I lived from BDU to the train track. And looked out, we had a fountain out front and a bunch of tables and chairs and stuff all blowing around. Well, my roommate and I went out, chased down all the furniture that blown away, and fastened it down some way, and people that owned the apartment, they were very, very straight-laced. And we were two guys living together and having an occasional party. And but the lady appreciated us going out and getting the furniture, and a couple of days later she comes up the back walk, paper sack, and it's got a 6-pack of beer.
Oh, get you started for your next party.
Thank you for getting the furniture.
So that was 62, then what about the flood in 64? And then the flood in 96, because Grandma was on Delaney Road then.
I remember one of those was when I was working at KBZY, and I took one of the guys up for, we flew the river, and he did a news report kind of thing. It wasn't live, just recorded it and then played it on the airplane.
That was probably the 96, were you working for KBZY in 96?
No, I left
60, maybe there's another flood, I just know 60.
77, I think it was.
So maybe it was 64? Unless there was another flood in between, I just know 64 and 96.
I can remember a flood that pushed the skating rink into the Center Street Bridge. Not everybody can remember that one.
Do you remember how old you were when that one happened?
Well, there was only one bridge.
How old were you when that?
Oh, I didn't. I probably was. That's probably. I might have not been out of high school. Yeah, probably wasn't out of high school.
So, more floods than I'm thinking of.
I can remember the Tillamook burn. Or two of those. Didn't have much to do with them. It was saw the smoke.
Did you have any damage on the farm with that storm?
The October storm, yeah. there was a group of 4 or 5 large oak trees right behind Dad's house. And one of them broke down some other stuff, another limb. And one of the limbs landed on the roof of the house and broke a couple of rafters. And then he had a single car garage that was left over from the old days, nobody bothered to tear it down. And he had his car parked in that, and a part of a tree came down and knocked the garage down and onto the car. It didn't really do that much damage. And it tore down the garage and left the concrete pad there. Well, county assessor came out a year or 2 after that and was gonna write that pad up as something so they could charge tax, property taxes. And Dad went ballistic, and about the time he came down, the guy winded up and cut the hell out of it. A worthless concrete pad, he's gonna charge him tax.
The remains of a garage that. So what about the creek right there? Because before they replaced the bridge there coming out of town, there was not a lot of room. So if there's any flooding at all, there's probably, they could maybe close the
Well,
road.
the bridge down on the corner,
Yeah,
they raised that.
well, I know, but before they did that, that's been more recently, before they did that, that water was.
Well, it is, I've seen it come over that.
Well, that's what I was wondering is with the storms and floods, if I imagine Uncle Ben's pasture would get flooded and the road would get closed, and what happened?
Well, and his driveway would get pretty wet.
Ah,
And that's another thing about my Uncle Ben, my cousins never had a interior bath. There was always a two-hole around back. This was to go to high school. So,
in the 50s, they're still using an
yeah,
outhouse?
yeah,
Two-holer?
a two-holer, you bet.
Wow.
Wasn't that close to Patley to have a one-holer.
I don't think I've ever seen a two-seat outhouse.
Oh, really?
No, I have not.
Well, you've been dealing with all this modern crap. Probably had toilet paper in it too, huh?
Not all the time.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember what other damage was done in Turner?
The tabernacle.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember when it had 2 towers. It hasn't looked right since.
Yeah.
There was another church that lost its steeple. What's this now? Angel Share, right? Did that one lose its steeple too? During that storm?
The only thing I can remember with our remainder is that the tabernacle. I don't recall another fire. And there was a Christian church that was sort of in the northwest corner of the housing. And it seemed like it was about there. Christian church. I think it had a steeple of some kind on it. And then there was a church, that was a Methodist church. And it was near the Barber property.
There's one where they have a brew pub across from the covered, where they used to have the lambs. There's a church they made into a brew pub. Is that one that something happened to it? Cause.
Oh, that's the one out on, going out of town?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all.
Speaking of church, I think Grandma and Grandpa were Methodist. Is that right?
They joined the Methodist church.
But they weren't like super active in it, were they, or did they?
They were
What'd you
getting
do on
old and starting
Sundays?
to worry about things, I think. And they, I don't know why they you didn't discuss it with them. They elected to have me join this Christian church.
The one in Turner?
Yeah.
Ah.
And that was pretty young then. I was probably 8 or 10 maybe, I don't know. Not very old, but not old to tell I didn't want to join it.
So did you go to Sunday school on Sundays then? Or when you weren't having to help farm?
Yeah,
You're just part of the congregation.
not very well.
Okay.
It was not too high on my list of things to do. Unfortunately, I suppose.
Well, it all
When
depends.
they put it there, I knew, you know.
I think it all depends upon the congregation, don't you think?
Well,
You know,
yeah,
there are
you gotta
those that welcome
people
you
that
and-
enjoy being around.
And some congregations have a little bit of hypocrisy going on. They're not very nice.
Even though they used to do a thing out at the tabernacle. This is back before my time. But they have what they call the Holy Roll, and people have a church meeting. And I remember my dad. They sneak up to the window, and the people would be actually rolling on the floor, screaming, howling, carrying. And I went to a thing at North Salem High School. They had an auditorium and they had some kind of a revival meeting or something. And they scared the hell out of me. Carrying on and stuff, running down and whether they were confessing or doing something. That kind of churching did not impress me.
I read a book about kind of some of the histories of some of those organized, and there are definitely different ways of practicing, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Not non-traditional,
Yeah,
not what you would think of as traditional.
Hamburg Antrim.
That doesn't mean that there aren't other ways to be spiritual or a good person.
Yeah. Well, that is one thing that our life probably is one of the positive things that we've been led into with alternate ways to do something. And nobody knows what's right. They might think they do, but
Just do your best. To do your best to do your best,
that,
right? And I think that seems to be kind of a, for the most part, a family tradition from what I've seen.
that's, it would appear that way, though.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything I did that had good answers
Well, you carried it on.
to a degree.
So anything else you want to talk about today? I know I always want to talk about this stuff, but I think
What?
I always want to talk about this stuff, the
Oh,
local history and family history, but I think my brain's done for the day.
the one thing, part of the general conversation, pretty much ignored my mother's side of the family, which I know less about, and has absolutely nothing to do with her.
Except that she lived there a lot of years.
Yeah,
But she didn't start there. Her family roots aren't there. I mean, I guess we can touch on that briefly because she's from Gardner and her dad served in the legislature for a term. And he was like the part of the Port Authority, I think, in Gardner. And there was a gold piece that he had that was robbed when he was traveling by stagecoach, right? And that's how they caught the guy that did it, because he had that gold piece.
remember
He
that.
made that into a watch fob. I got it from when Grandma passed away. There was some kind of story about it. I haven't found the story, but somehow I heard that. Maybe I heard it from her. But
Yeah, I had not heard that.
anyway, and they used to have a place up the Smith River, and she went to school by boat
I've been to,
before they moved to Gardner.
and There was a road up there. There were some, dirt roads, no gravel, just the end of the field. And, it only went up there the day in dry weather. And, when she's on a boat in the morning, it looks good. And I think he had to cross the river to get into the house.
And I know I've traced the family back to, I think, Maine, but I haven't traced that path. I don't know as much about that path as the Wipper side of things, the Barnetts and the Burses.
Oh, her uncle, I think probably when my grandfather died, Mom was 10 years old. And I think they were sort of tough time. And I think they went to the bottom
Yeah,
then, and there was what were they?
Cain,
Cain, that's right.
Cain. And her mom was sick too about that time. There was a time that Cora was down there because her mom was sick.
Uh-huh. And then the Cain brothers, I think there were 2 or 3 of them that hung around the bottom.
Yeah, they started kind of all the utilities down there.
Yeah.
And sons of somebody were airplane pilots.
They were down at Paso Robles.
I think it was one of Cora's sisters, maybe.
But yeah, 2 of them were United. Both of them made United captain by the time World War II started. And a lot of times they'd be coming home late at night. There'd be a DC-3 with the United marking parked there, and somebody, wonderful guy or Homer were on that plane. Once we stopped and Dad went in and he actually got tucked in on the radio. They were taking off.
Oh, fun. But it always, when I find out this history, it always makes me more amazed that Grandma could be living on the Smith River and going to school by boat, and living in Gardner where there wasn't a highway, and being down after cause she graduated from school down in down in California. So somehow she ends up back up here, and still somehow she ends up with a blind date with Grandpa. I mean, travel was not.
The travel wasn't easy, but they got where they were going.
I know, it just seems like a miracle. And that led to you and everybody else after that. If that hadn't all happened.